Hey guys, just a quick minute. Have any of you read Delivering Happiness? It's backwards, but Delivering Happiness by Tony Hsieh, a path to profits, passion, and purpose? Well, if you've been thinking about it, or maybe you have, I want to tell you a little bit about my thoughts today about it. And that is going to cover about just a few minutes of your time. So I appreciate you sticking around. If you do choose to, please like, subscribe, and follow. Leave a comment below. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Let me know your thoughts if you have read it, or if you intend to read it, put it on your list, or in the near future find some time. But I found this book actually really refreshing in a sense that the way that the author, Tony Hsieh, talks about his ideology behind how he handles business is a completely different outtake than what I would say is the standard normal for America. And I think that's important because it adds an element of importance to what and who a company really is. And is the employees, the people that make up the company, really. So many people and companies get lost in translation as a company grows to the how and what they do, not why they do it, and the fact that it's all about profits and not everything else. And the intention and the original whole purpose of everything, I feel, gets lost. I've seen it in my own personal working career with companies and the way it's all pans out. But some of the big important notes and points I think that are to take away, at least myself, from this, is that he actually breaks it down into three easy to understand sections that make it so that it moves through the way in a timely, chronologically timed manner. Meaning, like the first section is about profits, and the second, well, right here, is profits and passion. And he breaks that down into a different thing. And then it's profits, passion, and purpose, even more so. And each one was kind of a specific theme to it. But at the same time, you get to learn about not only his history, Tony's history, of where he came from, how he formed his ideology and his values around business and life, family, and whatnot when he was younger, his experience when he first started out kind of dabbling, getting his feet wet in what business might be and how he kind of developed himself. But at the same time, he also gives you his lessons that he learned, and he actually tells you what he took away and then gives you a perspective that you can learn from it as well. That would be basically number one and number two. Point number three, I think that is important to make, is profits and passion. The second section is actually about the business philosophies, how he formed those specifically, not necessarily his own core values, but more or less like where his business philosophies came in and how he implemented those, moving in and towards his growth towards forming Zappos.com. If you didn't guys know, he's one of the originating creators of Zappos.com, which I believe is now owned by Amazon at some point. And he actually gives you real life examples of things they still use today, meaning emails, campaigns, systems that are in place in Zappos. And I think this is really where the difference is made with Zappos.com, and their culture is huge because nobody will ever compare to it, but it is all formed around bringing value to the customers and the employees before profits. And I think that is huge because they actually have an implemented system where there is like mandatory regulated growth of employees. There is required like reading, courses, things that they have to do as they go through. And a little insider thing is I believe they will actually pay somebody to quit if they don't like it. And it's actually a very rigorous like hiring process where they have multiple interviews and there's like a quality assurance. It's actually very inspiring because so many people just hire to fill the truck, to fill the need, and just for the dollar signs because they know that one more person in the field is just another body, where these guys actually take the time to actually make sure that the candidate or the prospect is a perfect and right fit for the environment, because they know that they're making an investment, and if it's not the right fit, that relationship will ultimately fail. So I think that is a huge point to make. But I loved how it was organized in like a chronological form. He basically started from his childhood and his family life and how he went through college and how his beliefs around business was shaped and molded through utilizing his friendships and his relationships and things. At one point in the book, he actually bought basically a condo with the intent of actually setting it up to have it be a gathering place for his friends. And that was like the core thing. Like, it was his place. It was fully funded by him, paid for, but like his first time business ventures and those kinds of things all had access to it, and they had birthday parties there. They would gather. So it was like a big thing where it really shaped and molded the way that he took these principles into his business career, and started running things. He explains the lessons and the learnings from his own perspective, but also gives you realistic ways of learning and leading it and implementing those lessons into how we can develop ourselves, whether it be as leaders or business people, family lives, or whatnot, because I think these lessons and his philosophy is so much more than just business in itself. He also, I kind of mentioned already, but he also gave real life examples, and he actually gives you illustrations, drawings, and things like that throughout the book to actually help convey his message. Like I said, he gives you actual emails and things like that, where there's certain things that they do and implemented within Zappos that go around and throughout the company. I think one of the stories that they gave real briefly is they tried a theory out one time, and they called the customer service at Zappos like at 2 a.m, him and some friends, and they actually had the customer service rep through Zappos actually found a pizza delivery service closest to them wherever they were at, not knowing that he was actually Tony. So, he tried and tested all these theories from start to finish as he implemented them to actually reinforce that these strategies and these things actually worked within the community, to prove, not only to himself, but I think overall that the value of the customers is all about the experience when you go to Zappos. He clearly communicated his why and his purpose, and his why reigned true, I believe still to this day, with the experience of Zappos. Not necessarily what or how they do it, but the why is so strong there in the culture. I mentioned in one of the previous videos of Start With Why by Simon Sinek, but in there, the why can easily get lost when the split and the shift happens within companies, and it's more or less focused on the how and the what rather than the why. So the original purpose with Zappos is still very present to this day. Not only himself, but the culture of Zappos specifically embraces a growth mindset culture where development is a requirement, actually, and they actually require certain standard criteria for you to actually become a member of the team. And if you don't fit, they will actually pay you, for instance, to leave the company, because they know that not only will you be miserable and happy, you are not a good fit for the investment of the long-term investment of the company, the culture, or the environment. And either way, so nobody is being favored there. And that still is, I believe, a thing. And one of my biggest takeaways from the book is that it's all about providing value and the experience. And value is something that's unique to each and every individual person. To find value in a situation, a relationship, an experience, things like that. But they are so focused on it, and it's so ingrained in the culture that there's really no way somebody can't find value in the experience of whether it be calling, getting online, doing anything like that. So I would really, in closing, I would highly recommend the book. It really changed my perspective of what you would think of as a normal corporate America, because I did come from a structured background where a company was run a certain way, and this and that. And I've been in different, obviously, situations and working environments. But at the same time, I have yet, until recently, been able to really explore what it's like with this kind of environment. And this really solidified my belief in some of the endeavors that I'm currently undertaking in my own, not only in my own personal development, but also my professional development, and putting myself out there, like doing videos like this and whatnot. So if you've got any value out of this, please like, subscribe, or share. Maybe leave a comment, a thumbs up. I would love and welcome your feedback, please. But until next time, I think the next video I'm doing, just for a little teaser, I believe is going to be a book by the title of How I Went from Success to Selling, From Failure to Success in Selling by Frank Bettger. It was one of the first books that I started reading, and it has a very similar feel to this book, as of where it's not a traditional business model selling mindset of a book. So please stay tuned for that. And again, like I said, leave a comment. Let me know that you've gotten some value from this. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the next review.